Hello everyone, my name is Influencer and welcome back to a new franchise episode. I know it has been a couple of weeks since I uploaded a episode for this series, but I really had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do with this zoo, and I finally came up with some nice ideas and with a decent name for the zoo. So I decided to start recording this franchise series again. And today I am going to build a new habitat for the flamingos. So I started up with this starter layout. It was created by me and it worked perfectly. So I have around 120,000 euros or dollars, I'm sorry, in the bank, and around 1300 conservation credits, so I can finally start building the zoo I want. I'm gonna keep this layout for a while. I'm only gonna relocate the flamingos and they will be part of the entrance area. And bang, I started the time-lapse. Yes, I'm gonna do a time-lapse in this series, but don't be afraid, I will be speeding it up only like 6 times, because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, because that was the whole idea of this franchise series, that you could still see what I'm doing, but I didn't want the episodes to take too long. So for example, it would take me 3 or 4 episodes to finish up one decent habitat, and that's not what I wanted to do. So what I did now, I only speeded it up 6 times, so you will be able to see what I'm doing, and I try to not cut out too much of the footage, as you can see right now. So I'm changing the times of the or the opening times of the zoo, just to make sure that I can build everything in the light, because I don't like to build when it's dark, because I can't see what I'm doing. Also, one thing, you did see me starting on the building, and then I found out, oh yeah, I have to do some research before I have all the pieces that I want, because I wanted to start off with the limestone walls, but I didn't have them because it's part of the classical theme and you don't have that when you start off. So you did see me starting some research on that, and so I will have those pieces soon, hopefully. So that's also why I did not hit the pause button. You can still see all the people walking around, and it's raining, and I think in a few minutes you will see some snow, because yes, this zoo is still based in the Netherlands. And as I already told you, I finally came up with a name. Actually, what I did, I opened up Google Maps and I started looking to my own country, and I found 2 nature reserves. One is the Biesbos and one is called the Veluwe. And I ended up looking at some pictures from both, and the Biesbos is more, how should I call it, more like a swampy look, so a lot of water, a lot of trees, and the Veluwe is more like an open area, but also with a lot of forest. And I ended up with the name of Veluwe Zoo, which is a nature reserve in the Netherlands, and that's where my zoo will be based. Because it did feel like the Veluwe is more realistic place to start a zoo. There's a lot more wildlife in that area than there is in the Biesbos. The Biesbos is more used as a recreational park for people to basically use a boat and destroy everything. But anyway, the habitat itself, I wanted to create a shallow water look with a lot of rocks. Again, I love these rocks. They make everything look much better, and by only speeding it up 6 times, you can already see what I'm doing, more or less. I tried to see, I want to show you guys how I experiment with these pieces. I never place the same rock in the same position twice next to each other, and that's how I want it to make it look natural. You will never see the 2 of the same rocks next to each other in real life, so that's why I did it like this. So I'm starting off with the plants, first checking of course which habitat the flamingos are from, or which biomes I can use in this zoo. And there are actually quite a lot. I can use the Africa, I can use the Asia, Europe, and then the grassland, tropical and aquatic, I think. Yeah, and the temperate as well. Yeah, I have to think about it because I'm recording this afterwards, of course. Because it's, you cannot record a speed build or a time lapse. And, anyway, that's complete bullshit. But anyway, the plants, some water lilies. I'm just experimenting with which plants I can use in this area to make it look good. For the rocks, I'm only using the temperate type rocks because then you can really easily blend it in with the terrain work. And I think you already saw me doing that. I'm doing it right now, of course. He knew that I was going to talk about this, but you can perfectly blend it in with the terrain work if you use the rocks from the biome that you're actually in. If you're using completely different rocks, it would look weird. It will get you different colors. So using these rocks makes it a lot easier to blend it into the terrain. And that's why I'm using these rocks. By the way, if you did not do it already, make sure you join my Discord server. And the people in my Discord server probably already know this, but I decided to start working with a uploading schedule. I will be uploading every Tuesday and Friday around 3:30 p.m. Central European time. I decided to go with a schedule because I noticed that I really like the YouTubers that work with some kind of schedule, because then I know when they are uploading and I know when I can expect a new video to watch. I do watch a lot of Planet Zoo content creators, of course, and that's why I decided to finally go with a schedule. I finally figured it out for myself what is realistic to do, because I won't be able to upload every day, of course. That takes too much time. I can stick with that two times a week uploading schedule. But anyway, back to the build. You can see that I'm tearing this building down because I decided to do it in a different way, because as you can see, you can put the wall on basically two sides of the grid, and I wanted the glass to be behind the walls to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, I don't know, more realistic. Actually, the inspiration that I got for this building, I will put a image of the building right now in the video. When I started googling the Veluwe, I found this building and I thought, why not? I'm gonna try to recreate this building in the game. I know it looks a bit boring, the building. I end up with more decoration on the building than the actual building itself, but I did want to stick with the shape because these pieces are completely new for me. As you know, maybe you know my Monkey Island series, and over there I tried to stick with the jungle feeling. I absolutely never used these classical building pieces, so these are completely new for me, and that's also why I wanted to continue with this franchise series and do it in a little bit different way, because you can actually see me experimenting with these pieces as I'm doing right now. You could see that I'm just messing around with these things and try to create something nice. I do start off with the building, but I'm gonna finish up the building in the next episode. But I did want to show you guys what I'm doing right now. So these are the shelters for the animals, and I wanted to create another viewing spot for the guests right here, which basically is in the middle of the habitat. And I did find this a very, very nice idea of myself. And because this is a franchise, I want to focus a little bit more on the guests and on the managing part, but also a little bit on the realism. I have to think about water, I have to think about electricity, and I have to think about the staff buildings. because that was one of the things I didn't really do in Monkey Island, and yeah, because it's a sandbox and you don't really need to do it. But this is franchise, so I have to do it. As you can see right now, I'm putting down the two most important staff buildings in my opinion, which is a keeper hut and which is the staff building itself for the staff to take a rest and have a coffee. Because I already did play some franchise before, and I found out that basically every habitat needs these two buildings, and after that you can assign a keeper and a mechanic, and maybe in the end we can assign a vet to a certain working area, and we can include these two buildings and they will be dedicated to this habitat. And I found out that this is the most efficient way to work in the franchise. But I know that in the beginning you need to focus a little bit more on the money, and you don't want to hire a vet for every habitat, because right now I only have one vet in the zoo because they are really expensive to have. Same with the mechanics, but I do have like 3 or 4 mechanics walking around in the zoo already, because you need to repair your barriers once in a while. But this habitat actually doesn't have any barriers, so I don't have to worry about that with this one. So right now I'm starting off with the side of the building. As I already told you, I'm not going to finish up this building completely in this episode. I will do that in the next episode, but I just want to show you guys that I do end up with the same shape of the building that I found on Google Images. Basically the same roof, the black roof of the building. You probably might have seen it already, but I'm struggling a bit with the grid height. Somehow it's continuously changing back to 0, and I did want to work with the grid in this case, because I want to show you guys that you can actually use the grid to make a proper looking building. It's not always custom roofs or custom whatever. You can actually work with these grid pieces, but I'm struggling a bit with that, and I'm trying to copy and paste it to the other side, but it was including the staff building, so I can't do that. Trying it again, and then it did work. You can see that I'm not really focusing on the back of the building, but yeah, I will do that I will do that in the next episode. So this part is the again on the Google image, you can see that it has a special kind of roof on top of it, and I couldn't really find this piece. Maybe you guys know it, if it's actually in the game, yes or no, but I ended up with these glass roof pieces and I painted it black to make it blend in a little bit more, then using the concrete to create the basically the three-dimensional effects that this building has. And what I'm using a lot in this case is just basically copy paste it, so Control X and then X again, and make sure you have the angle snap on, because then it's really easy to create something like this. And just Control X, and you basically can start moving it, and it will keep the same height and the same angle, which works perfectly with a building like this if you try to build something like that. I actually found the exact same windows as this building has, and I'm trying to decorate the roof a little bit more, but I'm not sure yet about these pieces, so I start decorating some other parts of this building. So right now we are more or less 15 minutes into this video, and I would really appreciate your guys' feedback on the way I'm recording this franchise zoo right now. If you like it, and if you don't, please let me know down in the comments what you think about this concept. And if you liked it, make sure you hit the like button. And if you didn't like it, just hit the dislike button. So at least I know what you guys thought about this episode. And if you did not do it already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. That's the best way to keep on supporting me with creating YouTube content for this amazing game. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will end up with as usual, with some cinematics of the final habitat. And I really hope to see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.